Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Ash Paulson and RogersBase to discuss all the news from Nintendo's latest financial results briefing, including the fact that the Switch is getting a paid online service in September of this year, Mario Kart's coming to mobile, and that a Mario movie is officially on the way. So let's get started. Alright guys, we had quite a bit of news tonight, completely unexpectedly. We knew there was a meeting, but we usually don't get this much out of it. Even though there's not much substance to it, there's still some pretty exciting stuff to talk about here. And you know what I want to start off with? Freaking Mario Kart coming to mobile. Because it's Mario Kart, I love Mario Kart. I don't care what platform it's on, I gotta talk about this. Especially because in this case, when I first heard the news, I was excited. It's Mario Kart, hell yeah. But then I was thinking, how in the hell is this gonna work? How does Mario Kart work on mobile? Which is why I'm glad we have you here, Roger, because you usually have some amazing ideas for how they can get this stuff figured out. So I want to start off with you. Do you have any ideas for how Nintendo can make Mario Kart work on mobile, and is this something you're even excited for?
Okay, so I gotta be 100% honest, and this is hard coming from me, because I'm usually excited about everything.
Right.
I am not super excited about Mario Kart on mobile, because I think this actually severely hurts the chances of a real Switch Mario Kart later on down the line, because this is apparently coming out at some point before March 2019.
Correct.
And I was kind of hoping that maybe by 2019 there would be the announcement of an actual non-ported Mario Kart on the Switch. I thought that would be kind of cool. And now that we're getting this instead, I really don't know what to think. Now, that being said, I have an open mind. I think it could be cool. I think gameplay-wise, I'm expecting something maybe top-down, similar to the top-down mode in Kirby Air Ride, or something that maybe looks similar to Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, but just with 3D graphics, if that makes any sense. And yeah, I think the roster will probably be pretty good. Considering it's a mobile game, there might be some kind of gacha mechanic where you can get lots of different racers, so maybe we'll have all those crazy strange characters like EGAD and the Piantas and stuff like that.
Maybe Donkey Kong Jr. can finally come back.
Donkey Kong Jr. can come back.
There
Congratulations on that video blowing up. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed about this specific announcement. There's stuff in the fiscal announcement thing that I'm excited about. I'm excited to talk, of course, about Mario Kart Tour.
Right.
But there's other stuff that I think I'm more genuinely excited about when it comes to their potential.
Okay.
This I really don't know.
I don't know if this actually hurts the chances of Mario Kart, because I don't think when we heard about Animal Crossing or a proper Mario Kart on Switch, because when we heard about Animal Crossing on mobile, we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because Animal Crossing will be coming to the Switch pretty soon too, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this does in fact launch early next year, if we get a Mario Kart possibly for the holiday season on Switch. Because I don't think whatever this game's going to do, I think it's going to be different enough that it doesn't compromise a core Mario Kart game. I'd be shocked if it plays like a standard Mario Kart, where you racing in real time with behind the character perspective. I'd be really surprised if that's how it works. Maybe it will, and in that case, maybe it would mean we don't get a proper Mario Kart on Switch. But I don't know if I think this is I don't know if this is evidence that that's not going to happen, though, anytime soon. What do you think, Ash?
I agree with you, Andre. I was actually going to say much the same thing. I think the biggest impediment to a completely new original Mario Kart on Switch is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's just the fact that we're not that far out from its release. I do think that if you give the Switch another couple of years, we are going to see a proper either Mario Kart 9 or a completely new Mario Kart on Switch. I just don't think it's time yet. I mean, we already have 8 Deluxe. It hasn't been out really even a year yet. And I just think, our biggest enemy there is time. But if you look at all the other IPs on mobile, such as Mario, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, as you said, Andre, we've never really been given reason to believe that those properties being on mobile says anything about their potentials for Switch. We already know a dedicated Fire Emblem game is coming to Switch soon, or soonish. And yeah, I mean, and I think we all in this chat, or in this discussion, agree that a dedicated Animal Crossing is coming to Switch at some point. So I don't think this really spells doom for a completely original Mario Kart on Switch. I just think the Switch needs more time to get away from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, frankly.
Yeah. And I think it's good you guys are being optimistic about that, but I do want to play devil's advocate really quickly before we move away from that, which is that with both the announcement of Pocket Camp and with Fire Emblem Heroes, we already had the announcement of Fire Emblem Switch before that with Fire Emblem Heroes stuff, which was in February, because they announced all that at the same time. And two, with Pocket Camp, that was specifically mentioned during the fiscal meeting about Pocket Camp, that it's going to work in some fashion with the next mainline Animal Crossing game.
True.
They did specifically say that, whereas there's nothing coming down the pipeline that we know of right now that
the
is
warp
a proper
pipeline?
new... Okay, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I knew you were going to say it. But I think that's the only reason why I'm kind of concerned. Because looking at this, it seems like Switch obviously is both a handheld and a home console, and we've never had more than one Mario Kart on a system before. And I think if we do get another Mario Kart game on Switch, it will probably be something drastically different from what we had with
like
Mario
Double
Kart
Dash
8.
2.
Either, like a new Double Dash or like a Mario Kart World akin to like Diddy Kong Racing or something. I think it'd be really cool. But I think like a proper Mario Kart 8 type game, I don't know. I just don't see it coming to the system, especially if Tour's coming in on the mobile, and the mobile sort of maybe fills in the gap of like what would have been the handheld iteration. Because we had like Mario Kart DS, and then Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart 3DS, and then Mario Kart for Wii U and for Switch. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, if it did come out next year, or at the end of next year on Switch, assuming that happened, who knows, that might be still too soon, that would be 2.5 years after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe already. And with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe already itself being a repeat of a game from 2014, I don't think it's that possibly unreasonable, although I do agree with you, if we do see an actual sequel on Switch, I do think it would be quite a bit different from 8 Deluxe. I mean, I think it would still play like a Mario Kart game, but I think it would be different enough that it could exist alongside 8 Deluxe, whether that's a form of Double Dash 2 or a more open, like adventure-based game as you touched on, which would be amazing, by the way. Both of those would be amazing. I hope that 8 Deluxe affords an opportunity to really explore some other things with Mario Kart outside what they've normally done. So yeah, I kind of agree with you. I just don't think the existence of this mobile game means another Switch game couldn't come, and I hope it does.
Yeah.
Well, and also, I mean, even though there have never been 2 Mario Karts on one console before, they're also, we've never had a console that has almost launched with a previous generation Mario Kart either. We're in completely uncharted territory here. So I think my point is,
Wait, Uncharted's coming?
Yeah, Uncharted confirmed for Switch. No, but basically it's just I don't think we can draw too many inferences either way, because we are in completely uncharted territory in multiple different contexts. We've never had a system that has almost launched with a Mario Kart. Yes, it's an upgraded version of the last generation Mario Kart, but still, we've never started off the lifespan of a new Nintendo console with a Mario Kart.
Exactly.
So I feel like going forward, there isn't necessarily reason to believe that one precludes the other.
Right. I agree with you. I mean, I hope you're right. I hope you're wrong, Roger, but hey, you never know. So, but you did bring up an interesting point with how it might play, like a top-down view, because I think that would be sufficiently different, set it apart from the mainline Mario Kart games, that it could easily exist alongside them. But I've been trying to think, like, how can Mario Kart work on mobile? I mean, and the obvious, and the first odds, well, just play like Mario Kart. You use tilt controls or whatever, and it's like a Mario Kart game. Except, I don't know if that would work as well on a mobile device where your internet connection may not be guaranteed, although every Nintendo mobile game online, or so far, has required an online connection. But I wonder if like online might not work as well on a phone device with lag and whatnot, although I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe connected through my phone once, that seemed to be fine. But I'm still thinking if it would just play differently, it could be top-down, but I was also thinking even more abstractly. Like, what if this wasn't even a real-time Mario Kart game? And hear me out. This could be crazy, but what if it's like almost like a turn-based type thing, right? Where you are still on a racetrack, but it's much slower paced, almost like an RPG type thing, where you earn coins and can unlock items as you go through the course, but on a much slower time-based scale. Maybe with friends, maybe with random people. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like gambling aspects of mobile games in Japan aren't really kind of allowed in America, like in the same way. Because even like they took out the coin corner or whatever it was called in Pokemon from the North American releases compared to the Japanese ones. So maybe this isn't the direction I think they're going to go in, but I do think it's possible that we could see something where it's almost like horse racing, where maybe like there's a race starting and you bet coins on who's going to win, and then you come back in like 5 minutes and you see who ended up winning the race. Where maybe it isn't even like racing at all. Like you mentioned, it could be something drastically different. I just think, going back to what I was talking about earlier with the top-down view, I think that would be different enough from the console games to then be like, oh, you should totally still get a Switch game if you want like the real Mario Kart experience. This is just like a fun thing to sort of, add to the mix. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tricky thing. Like, it has to be compelling enough on its own to keep bringing you back and be recognizably Mario Kart. At the same time, they don't want to compromise their main games.
Right. Well, there's also the other thing, too, where Nintendo has made it clear, I believe on multiple occasions, that they typically are trying to design their mobile games to be one-handed experiences.
Good point.
So unless they're unless they're going against that with Mario Kart Tour, I feel like we're not going to get some sort of crazy gyrometer,
Right.
accelerometer, or not gyroscope, accelerometer type controlled full-on racing game, because I feel like that would go against their design ethos for having one-handed mobile games. So I feel like it's got to be something that you can play with one hand, perhaps even just your thumb. I'm not sure, but and I don't know if they would do this because I don't feel like this would be all that compelling, but I'm kind of getting a sense of maybe some sort of like tour management type gameplay where instead of participating in the races yourselves, you're like managing a team, and maybe you're using the experience or things you gain from automatic races to then go back into the garage and tune up your cars, improve your characters or something, then send them back out and see how they do and get more, and maybe like, you have upgrades that you can build, but those upgrades take time unless you want to, pay for a Mario Kart ticket or something.
You buy kart parts, just like you do in Mario Kart 8, except you can apply them to multiple vehicles maybe in this case, right? You earn coins after each race with each win. Yeah, I mean, I guess Mario Kart 8 Deluxe already kind of shows us how they could tie in an economy type thing into this.
Oh, totally. They're going to double down so hard on kart customization, and there are going to be so many different things you can buy, either with in-game currency or with real money. Like, they're going to double down on that so hard, I think.
I wish they would double down on Double Dash.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, at the least, I'm intrigued. Like, I'm very curious to see what they do here, because I think this might be the most different game we've seen out of them as it relates to the core series. I could be totally off base, but I feel like this might be the one game where they really have to go outside the normal bounds of what you expect of a Mario Kart game.
Yeah. No, I think that's true, and I also, this is kind of unrelated, but this does make me wonder. I guess I'm just kind of surprised that Mario Kart Tour is being announced tonight, rather than perhaps additional details or an actual title for like Zelda mobile or something like that, because this is something that we haven't heard of at all.
You're right.
Mario Kart on mobile, and I just find it interesting that we have Super Mario Run and we're getting Mario Kart Tour before something completely different like Zelda or some such thing. So
I was just going to say, you confused me for a second. I was like, wait, did they announce that there's a Zelda
mobile
game coming?
No, but Wall Street Journal had reported that, I believe. They'd reported that was in the works of mobile. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So nothing official, but I think they reported that there was something in the works, potentially.
Hey, that's actually a pretty good segue then into another topic I don't think we'll focus too much on, but Nintendo tonight confirmed another Wall Street Journal report, being that they are in fact working on a Mario movie, and it is in fact also with Illumination Studios, the guys who made the Minions movies. So for me, hey, I think this was expected. I think we're all expecting this. This is just confirmation of what we already knew, but I love this. I'm glad it's happening. I've wanted to see a proper Mario movie that wasn't the Bob Hoskins one for decades now, and I really can't wait to see what form it takes. And I know I've seen some people like crapping on Illumination Studios. They could have done worse. I don't think, with Nintendo's guidance, I think this could be a fine movie, because I thought Despicable Me was a decent movie, so I'm not too concerned in that regard. I think, I think it's more if just Nintendo can make Mario work in a movie format in general. That's a bigger question.
Yeah, I mean that really is a question, and of course, ever since we discussed this previously, I keep going back to it. It's such a good point. It's like something you don't really think about, but then you're like, wow, that would be weird. Is Mario's voice
right?
Like, are they going to get Charles Martinet?
Of course,
Yahweh and Wahoo all the way throughout the movie.
The only Wahoo, such all he does. Yahoo!
I mean, look, I love Charles Martinet. He is Mario. I get it. But do we really want an hour and a half of Mario talking like that? I mean, I'm just, 90 minutes, 80 minutes, whatever. That's a lot of high-pitched, squeaky Mario. A lot.
Well, we've seen him do stuff at press events before where he talks as Mario on a screen.
It's always weird, though.
It's weird, but it's cool
hell.
at least. I think the way they'll probably balance that out, because I do think that Charles Martinet is just so clearly tied to Mario, I can't see them taking him away. I think they'll probably balance that out with like Bowser being The Rock, or like, Princess Peach being Ariana Grande or something. Like, they're gonna do something. Well, I mean, like,
you're just describing the 92 movie all over again.
I know, but I do feel like Bowser and Peach and the other side characters that aren't Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi will probably be voiced by other people. But I cannot imagine this without Charles Martinet as Mario. I can't.
We do know, at least, for people who may be nervous about the quality of the movie coming from Illumination Studios, we do know, at least from the financial briefing released tonight, that the co-producers are going to be the founder and CEO of Illumination, but also Shigeru Miyamoto.
Right.
So,
cool.
we do know that no matter what, I mean, whatever you think of Illumination or not, we know that Miyamoto's not going to let this thing get too far off the rails. Obviously, Mario's his baby. There's no way he's going to let this turn out to be another Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
And he already produced or maybe even directed those Pikmin shorts, which were amazing for what
those
they
were really, really good. Yeah.
I
I do wonder, though, now I'm thinking about it, like, the minions don't really talk. They go, blah, 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 banana, whatever they say. And, like, That's kind of how Bowser sounded in Odyssey. He was like, "Rah, rah, 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 Mario, rah, 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 rah." So, like, they could, I mean, realistically, if you're going to go with the studio and you don't want Bowser to talk, like, maybe the Minion Studio is the right way to go.
It might be. I just want Charles Martinet voicing literally every character in the movie now, actually. Like, just everyone. Yeah.
I think we should get everyone. He does everyone except for Luigi, who we bring back John Leguizamo for. Just no reason whatsoever. So no explanation.
That'd be perfect.
That'd be fun.
I mean, it's, you know, all the crazy ideas we've had so far, well, especially from Roger for the Mario movie, they don't sound that crazy now that we know about the Detective Pikachu movie with freaking Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu. So everything seems sane by comparison now.
Did you see those set leaks with the Graveler and the Pancham that look semi-realistic? Oh my goodness.
We are in
for a treat.
Yeah. That's true, though. I mean, I feel like no matter what this turns out to be, it's probably going to be a fair bit less weird than Detective Pikachu.
Yep, I would agree with that. All right, another big piece of news is that we finally got, well, another launch date, I suppose, for the Nintendo Switch Online service, which they're apparently calling just Nintendo Switch Online. It is now launching in September 2018, according to them, which is contrary to that, you know, mistake on an Italian Nintendo website a few weeks ago, where they said it was coming out in 2019. So it is in fact coming out this year, September 2018, and I believe the president also said something along the lines of they're looking at adding additional content to the service to make it, you know, worth its value. He didn't really elaborate too much on that, I believe. But yeah, we have a release date, and I think beyond that, though, is I wonder, could this be hinting at something else? Because I've long been saying that I think they need to launch this thing with a big online game. And what bigger online game is there than Smash Brothers? So,
hell yeah.
Right? What do you guys think?
Oh, don't do this to me, Andre. Just don't do this to me.
I'm feeling it, man. I think this is it.
I am too. I mean, I've also... Oh, go ahead, Roger.
No, I was just going to say I hope you two are right. Like, I really do. I love Smash Brothers, and I would love to see it in September, but, like, I don't think it's happening this year. I really don't.
What could it be, then? Do you think they'll launch it by itself, or if there will be a game with it? What game releases alongside the service? Like, it has to be something big to draw people to it, because every other online game is going to be old news by that point.
What else could it be?
Animal Crossing, maybe?
Do you think... But does Animal Crossing have that pull? I mean, it does in some respects, but I feel like that almost feels like making people pay for Animal Crossing as the first thing out of the gate for the service feels almost counter to me to what Animal Crossing is.
It lacks that immediate hard-hitting
the competitive
appeal. I mean, Animal Crossing will appeal to Animal Crossing fans, but that's not the kind of thing that you debut an online service with for your entire audience.
You can still play that game mostly single player too.
Well,
exactly.
Okay, well, now that I'm thinking about it, there is something that could have a lot of online potential.
Pokemon?
That was in that fiscal list, yeah. Because if you look at the release dates on that list of upcoming games, Bayonetta and Metroid Prime 4 are both listed as TBA release dates, whereas Pokemon says 2018 or later. So it could. I don't think it would launch in September. I don't think Pokemon's coming out in September, but I think if they launch the service in September, or maybe alongside something like an Animal Crossing, and the big holiday game has a lot of online functionality, and that game is Pokemon, then I could see that happening. But I really want you guys to be right about it being Smash Brothers, but I am just like not buying into that hype train yet.
Personally, I think it is Smash. I mean, even before this, I kind of have been, and I think you two have been as well, Andre. Yep. I've been kind of predicting that Smash would be this year. I think it's going to be announced either probably at E3 or around, I'm thinking at E3, but it feels like the right year for it. And if you think about the timeline, it really does line up. I mean, it matches up. Sakurai theoretically has had since the beginning of 2016 to, completely focus on Smash Switch after finishing the DLC for Smash Wii U and 3DS. So I feel like, given that, if we assume that Smash Switch development started maybe late 2015, going alongside concurrently with the DLC for Wii U, I feel like the timeline adds up. There's been a couple of years there for them to prepare a Smash Switch reveal for this year, and I feel like it's got to be the year. You don't want to have Switch's year 3 come around with no Smash.
If they want to sell 20 million Switches in the next fiscal year, Smash Brothers is how you do it.
I'm just thinking about it like, I don't know, I kind of feel like this is going to be their sort of like relaxing year. They're going to have Labo and smaller franchises. I don't know, I feel like next year, like 2019 with Metroid and Bayonetta and Smash, like that seems like the big hardcore year, and this one's going to be sort of the lull year. But I don't want to do this to myself, because I know that if I start believing you guys and I think Smash is coming, and then E3 rolls around and we don't get a Smash Brothers at the very least tease, I will be crushed. I will be like, so I don't want to buy into it. I want to go into this E3 doing my happy little live reactions like I always do, being open-minded. I don't want to go into it expecting Smash Brothers, but like, I mean, you guys make a lot of sense. I mean, Melee was developed in 8 months. They don't even need all that time. Like, I mean, it's
that was crazy.
And Melee's the best in the series. So, like, if
whoa,
man,
you just went there, didn't you?
All right, we're not going to go there. That would add a few hours to this discussion.
You know who else is crushed, though? I just have to say, you know who else is crushed, though, Roger?
Who?
My Kirby plush sitting right next to me, because he heard you call Kirby, or he heard you call this year kind of an off filler year, and I think I see a little teardrop forming below his eye that you could call him filler.
Well, I mean, I don't mean, but I mean, like, I think Kirby, I think Kirby, Yoshi, Fire Emblem are on a different level from Mario and Zelda and Splatoon.
Yeah.
No, I think the timeline makes sense, Ash. Right there with you, especially because I do think this won't. I don't think it'll be a port per se, but it will definitely be using Smash Bros. Wii U as a base. Then you add in the 3DS content, you add in some new content, you have enough to call it a brand new game, but it doesn't require the full development cycle that Smash 4 required. So, yeah, I really would be surprised if it doesn't launch this year. But hey, maybe I'll set myself up for disappointment.
Give me playable Pyra, that's all I want. Just give me playable Pyra.
There you go.
Nice.
All right. I guess actually, any other thoughts real quick on the online service launching this year? Any other things you expect from it, such as when they announced it, they mentioned that it would allow access to some old school games like NES and Super NES games with new added online functionality. Do you think that's still going to be there, or what else do you expect from this?
It better still be there. There better be something there, because they cannot, and as we talked about before, they cannot just start charging people for the online they currently have with no additional bells and whistles, because frankly, it wouldn't be worth it. Mm-hmm. So they have to have something ready to go, and whether that is the new form of their, whatever they're thinking of for Virtual Console or this monthly gaming service, whatever, it's got to be something that launches alongside the service in addition to like a game. Like, I don't think it's just going to be the big headline game, whether that's Smash or something else. I do feel like there will be additional components to this that'll make it more attractive, and Kimishima even says that in the briefing here, where he's like, we're thinking of additional ways to add value to this.
I wonder when they're going to announce that. Do you think they would announce that at E3 or before then? E3 might be a weird time, right?
I feel like E3, if you guys are right about Smash Brothers, I think that's going to eclipse everything else that's at E3. Like, I think that's the issue with Smash. Smash is such a huge franchise for them that I feel like, well, I'm saying this, but then the more I think about it, I'm seeing you guys are right, because, you would need an off year. If you're going to release it in September, you would need, like, a more quiet year to launch Smash in, because otherwise it would overtake everything else. Man,
hey, I feel your pain. I am so hyped for Smash, Roger.
Me too,
I hate to even think it, but I need it, and I really do, though. I think this is the year. I really do.
Usually, Jesus. I mean, it's funny. This is like the reverse of how it normally is. Usually, Roger's the one with the ideas, and we don't want to get our hopes up.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I hope for your sake, or all of our sakes, Roger, that we're not wrong, because that would be very disappointing.
I went to the mini direct thinking that it wasn't going to be anything huge, and then I got World Ends With You out of it, and I was such a happy camper. So I feel like this is a better way to go about it. Like, sometimes, when E3 times rolls around, I like giving like really crazy predictions, but any other time during the year, I like to sort of temper them a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's really not too much else to talk about. They gave a lot of sales figures, and maybe that's kind of what I want to end on here.
Yeah.
Is just the fact of how freaking successful the Switch has been. It has sold nearly 15 million units worldwide to date, the fastest selling console, I believe, of all time. They even compared it to the Wii with its trajectory, and how in North America it has even more momentum than the Wii did at this point in its lifespan, which is nuts, because the Wii was crazy when it came out, whereas it apparently is pretty similar in Europe, and apparently is slightly under the Wii in Japan. I mean, just the success of this console, which I think we all thought would do well, but I don't think we thought it would do this well. With Mario Odyssey sold 9 million units in 2 freaking months.
Insane.
It sold to two-thirds of the entire Switch demographic in 2 months, outselling Zelda Breath of the Wild, which had been out for almost a year up to that point. That is nuts. So, yeah, do you guys just have any general thoughts on the Switch so far?
Just shout out to my good buddy Xenoblade for getting over 1 million sales in a month.
First time
that
for the
is
series, I believe.
amazing.
Yeah.
That was when I saw those sales figures. I was happy for Mario Kart and Splatoon and all that other stuff, whatever. But like when I saw Xenoblade up there with the big boys, I'm like,
in a
yes,
month, less than a month. That's awesome.
Less than a month, man. Yes.
Good for it.
That's really cool. And also, too, not only just Xenoblade, which I'm also very happy about, but also when you can get a completely new IP and kind of an off-kilter game anyway, like ARMS, to sell over 1 million.
Yes.
That's also really impressive.
Yes.
Like, I didn't expect ARMS to ever break 1 million as soon as it did. And it did. And it may not be like a crazy multi-million seller ever, but that's a really strong start for a brand new IP with, you know, frankly, in terms of fighting games, it's not really, there isn't another fighting game out there that plays like it. And it's a little awkward to get into, a little off-kilter, but it still broke 1 million. And I mean, that speaks to the power of the Switch as well. I mean, it really is just, it seems unstoppable right now, which of course is not obviously the case, but Nintendo really is as extreme a low point as the Wii U was. It, you know, every bit as a low point as that was, the Switch is every bit that high point too.
Yeah.
It's been pretty incredible to watch.
Well, I think they needed an Ultra Smash Star Fox 64 Amiibo Festival year to not Star Fox 64, sorry, Star Fox Zero. See, I already erased that horrible Star Fox game from my head. That I just think of Star Fox 64, which is the only other good one beyond Assault. But anyway, what I was gonna say is I think they needed a year with those. I don't want to call them bad, but not so great games.
Right.
To have a year that's as stellar as Mario and Zelda and Splatoon 2 and Xenoblade. I think you needed to sort of have that downtime to have something as spectacular as last year. And like I said, my expectations for 2017 are pretty, I mean, for 2018, man, see, this is what I'm thinking of, like, oh, Switch, man. Switch is just going crazy. My expectations from 2017, looking at 2018, I'd say are still relatively the same. Even after thinking with you guys and talking about it, maybe Smash Brothers is going to come with the online service and knowing that that's coming out in September, but I don't know. It's only because I want to keep my expectations in check and I don't want to overhype myself for E3.
Right.
I think that's a very easy trap to fall into, and I really don't want to do that to myself this year.
Well,
so.
You may not have to overhype yourself for E3 because there's probably going to be at least one more direct before then, right? And who knows what could be announced there.
Well, I mean, Fire Emblem seems pretty likely.
Yeah.
Considering all the stuff going on with Fire Emblem, we'll probably get one of those, and we'll probably see Pokemon very soon, too.
Hope so.
Just judging by the release date that was on the fiscal thing, judging by sort of the history of when they announced Pokemon games, I wouldn't be surprised to see it in the next month or so.
Right.
See that? Wow, that would shock me. I mean, and I don't follow. I mean, I love Pokemon. I don't follow it as closely as some other series, but I don't know. I guess because Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon just came out late last year, but it feels. I don't know. It vaguely feels too soon for a Gen 8 announcement to me. But, I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
My devil's advocate to that would be, did you play Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon? Because there's not a whole lot of extra new stuff there.
Right, no,
and people want to say, it's not that great.
Right. No, and that's totally fair. It just feels like, I don't know, Alola doesn't feel that old in my mind yet, so it just doesn't feel right, but at the same time, I hear what you're saying, and it does make sense as well, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious, though, because if we do go ahead and get a Gen 8 announcement on Switch this year even, I mean, that I was thinking of that as a 2019 thing, but as you said, Roger, 2018 or later, so, yeah.
All right, guys, any final thoughts at all you want to get out there about anything we talked about that we haven't touched on already?
The one thing I want from Nintendo Switch Online, is to not get another single communication error ever in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Ever. Yes. I never want to see the words communication error pop up on my screen ever again.
Hey, Ash, I do have to go back to something I said earlier where I think I defended Mario Kart Online. I've been playing it again recently. I forgot how shoddy it can be.
Thank you.
So
it's so bad.
No, it's pretty shoddy at times. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want that to be fixed. No more comm errors. I just want a good lobby system. I want to be able to call up a buddy and be like, hey, let's play Mario Kart. Get in a room and go. I don't want to have to figure it out, I don't want to have to coordinate it and, hey, I'll join this public lobby first, then you join after me, but make sure you use the friends list to get... No, I don't want that. I just want it to work.
Well, you know what? I mean, as part of that, like, I don't think they will, especially based on the I think the price points are hinted at earlier, where it sounds like this will be cheaper than most other online services. But I would love if they actually finally got dedicated servers. Because I've been playing a lot of PUBG recently, and that game, don't get me wrong, has its own issues, but the connections there seem pretty darn solid. Whereas in Mario Kart, like, you see lag glitches all the freaking time, whether like someone drives off a ledge, but then just warp back onto the track, but then they actually drive off on their side, or you hit someone with an item and they weren't actually hit, or you missed, and then they do end up being hit. You know, I would love if they actually figured, work that out and made it just a smoother online experience in general for not just Mario Kart, but across all their games, especially if Smash Brothers comes out. For as improved as it was over Brawls Online, which is god-awful, it still needs to be better than it is.
Way better. And it's got to have more options. Like, Smash Wii U is my favorite in the series, but if they are debuting Switch Online alongside that game, there have got to be more options this time. Let me pick my stages in whatever kind of configuration I want. Let me play with friends in whatever configuration I want. I mean, there are quite a few options in Smash Wii U, but not enough. Not everything that you would want to do, and I really hope that they shore up that online experience as well.
Absolutely. All right, Roger, anything else, or are we done here?
I am ready to go. I cannot wait for E3 now, because you guys got me hyped. I came in here thinking that we were going to be talking about Mario Kart, and now I'm thinking about Smash on Switch, and that's all I can think about. So thanks a lot, you guys.
That's what we do,
I'm right there with you.
All right, Roger, and where can people find you at to get more of that excitement from you?
You can find me at RogersBase on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Instagram, and also at my secondary channel, Game & Vlog, which is linked on my primary YouTube channel. I was just at a Nintendo preview event. I'm going to have more footage of Star Allies, as well as Bayonetta and some other games in the days to come, so look forward to that.
Alright, and you can find links to all that in the description below as well. And of course, make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain for lots more on everything we just talked about and everything else Nintendo Switch. Catch you later. Bye.